Hey YouTube, this is Lone Soul 755 coming up to you today, or tonight rather, with a deck with the Battlin Boxer deck. It's one of the fun decks that I do play. I like the deck. It's a little bit linear, but otherwise, with the boss monster, it becomes very hard in order for the opposing player to try to run over, assuming they don't have anything in order to counter its effects. But anyway, I'll start off with the lineup. First off, 3 switch hitter. Basically, like the Blizzard of the deck, when it's normal summon, allows you to get a Battlin Boxer monster from the graveyard and able to special summon it to the field. Next, one of the other most important Battlin Boxer monsters, 3 Glassjaw. Really versatile card. Basically, if it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, it allows you to get a Battlin Boxer monster from the graveyard and add it back to your hand. Next, 2 headgear. Did have 3, but I decided that I was to run 2 instead, since I do run Foolish Burial in the deck. Basically, what this thing does, when it's normal summon, it allows you to dump a Battlin Boxer monster from the deck to the graveyard. Next, to spar. I rather recommend that you do run 2 instead of 3, because it's not really good mid game. Basically, during the rest of your turn, keyword rest of the turn, if you choose to special summon it using its effect, you can't conduct your battle phase. So basically, it'll be good to at the start of the duel or after you conduct your battle phase, you can special summon it again. Next off, run 2 counterpunch. I did run 3, but then I decided it was a little bit too cloggy for me, so I decided to shoot it down to 2. Basically, it's like the Kalute version. It's like the Kalute version of the Battlin Boxer monster. Next, run 2 Blaster. Real versatile card for this deck, because basically you could just dump off any of the Battlin Boxer monsters, since they are fire types, to the graveyard in order to help destroy, or you can banish some of them in order to revive this card. Next, couple of hand traps. 2 Veiler. Run 2 Masked Chameleon. Basically, it's the main tuner monster of the deck. When it's normal summon, it allows me to go and get out a monster of 0 defense and special summon it in defense mode. However, you're only allowed to special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. Really good in order to help you easily get out level 8 synchros. And it's broken because it allows you to special summon Glassjaw, as well as Photon Thresher, which is the next monster that I do have. I run 2 of those. And then one of my tech cards, I run Blue Flame Swordsman. It's a 1800 attack, 1600 defense monster. Basically, it has a couple of effects. First of all, you allow it to subtract 600 of its attack and add it on to another Fire Warrior type monster. Plus, if it gets destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you're able to revive back a Fire Warrior type monster from the graveyard into the field. So it's a really good card, considering considering the situation that it might get destroyed. You can revive back Lee Yoke or any of the other Battlin Boxer monsters or Fire Warrior type monsters, period. Right. Next, spell lineup. I run 2 MST. Don't really find it necessary to run 3, especially since with the boss monster Lee Yoke, there's not too many cards that could actually get around it and take it down. So that's why I choose to run it at 2 instead of 3 for the main deck anyway. Run 2 Lance. Extra protection for the boss monster or any other of my monsters, period. Good damage step card. I also run 1 Dress. I did have 2, but when I found out about the whole ruling regarding the targeting, it wasn't really as good as I thought it would be, considering the traps like Phoenix Chain and Compulse, which would hurt Lee Yoke. Even though Compulse is at 1, there are some decks that do run Phoenix Chain a lot, and Compulse is still running everywhere. So I do like to prefer to have at least one dress. Plus, it helps protect against mass destruction effects like Dark Hole or stuff like that. One of the other tech card, Book of Moon. I always like to have Book of Moon. Not too many people really like using it, but I like to because it can help out in so many ways. Next, one Fool's Burial, kind of standard. Rhoda, standard. Dark Hole, standard. Next, Trap lineup. I run 2 Breakthrough Skill, really good card. I have no backlash from not having it in the deck whatsoever. Plus, it comes off to use against any annoying cards that could possibly hurt, that could possibly get to lead yoke. Big Eye. I really hate when Big Eye gets used against me. D Prison. Run 2 of those. Run 2 calls. I did have Circle of the Fire Kings in place of this card, but then I finally came to terms that this card is actually better than Circle of the Fire Kings. Especially if you want to try to revive back Blaster or preferably Glassjaw. Person will want a Typhoon. You chain this, get Glassjaw, Call of Hunter gets destroyed, Glassjaw gets destroyed, Glassjaw's effect would kick in. Next, I run 1 Mirror, 1 TT, Standard, Compulse Standard, Bottomless Standard, Warning Standard. Well, Standard in my preference anyway. I like Warning. And, there's the trio of the rest of the other cards. Next off, extra deck. I run 3 Lee Yokes, the main boss monster of the deck, the card that you will really want to protect and make sure that nothing really happens to it. Basically, it's a 2200 original attack, but each time an XT material gets attached off of it, it gains 800. Plus, if a Battling Boxer monster or monsters would get destroyed, you just detach from it XT material, and basically whatever Battling Monster you choose to not get destroyed, it won't get destroyed at all. And preferably be used if Glassjaw's effect Glassjaw is attached to it, because then you'll be able to use Glassjaw's effect since Lead Yoke does not start a chain. Speaking of chain, got 1 Level Chain. Really good card to start off at the beginning of the duel. You can manage to, if you manage to XC summon in the first turn, you can help try to get the Lead Yoke loop running really quickly. Next is King of the Feral Imps. My really good card. Mainly my Searcher in order to get out Mass Chameleon. Next, have Maestroke. I like Maestroke because it's a Book of Moon. It's a monster version of Book of Moon, and it's also like a Zen mains. Not only that, if Glassjaw is used for an XC material, its effect will kick in, since this card also does not start a chain in order to prevent its destruction. 1 Excalibur, 1 Cowboy, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Blade Armor, and then for the synchro part of the deck, I run 1 Catastor, run Crimson Blader, because I hate dragons and I hate facing Murmouse, even though I do have Murmouse of my own. 1 Scrap Dragon, really one of the best cards to combo with Lead Yoke. Basically, you have this and you have Lead Yoke on the field with an XC material. You can target Lead Yoke along with one of the cards that your opponent controls, bomb them both. Lead Yoke still remains on the field, gets stronger, your opponent loses a card, you would typically plus off of that. Then 1 Colossal Fighter gets the boost, since majority of the monsters are warrior types, plus you can manage to revive a warrior type monster, including itself, if it would get destroyed as a result of battle. And then 1 tech card, I run 1 Red Dragon Archfiend, mainly because I hate Dracosack. Dracosack want to use tokens. I use Red Dragon Archfiend, get rid of the tokens. And it's just not just for Draco side. It can go for any type of deck, like Mega Phantoms that like to use tokens, or just blow out a whole wide range of defense position monsters when it attacks. Really good card, in my opinion. And that's basically my deck profile. If you have any suggestions, feel free to comment, rate, comment, subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys next time.